It's a chance to look back and reflect at what the university was like. It's also a chance to imagine what the university could be going forward. They really do capture the history of Texas A&M, the history of the country, actually. I mean, you see things on there that don't even exist anymore because these were made so much earlier, like early computer chips and things that we take for granted today that were new and innovative at the time he did the wood carvings.
Some of the Houston carvings and Dallas ones I did gave me the most confidence. Then the Highland Park Methodist Church, which was extensive as the MSC ones. I would spend every waking hour in the studio carving on them, which gave me the ease to get into the A&M panels, because the A&M panels were so intricate. So many things had to be carved, lettering-wise and everything, that you had to know how the wood's going to act. You know, a lot of the lettering, you use the really thin chisels so that you're not breaking off big pieces and creating gashes and stuff where you don't want them. If I had a choice, I probably would have gone to art school. My dad was an artist, and so was my mother, and they were definitely against it. So I went into architecture school. When I got back here, you know, all the students assumed I was this wild person, you know, from Berkeley and not from Lubbock. We closed the deal without anybody in the neighborhood seeing us, you know, at the bank. And then we parked our yellow van in the driveway, and it was, you know, past presidents and department heads peering out their blinds and horror as I got out in my bell bottoms and mutton chops. I met with the Board of Regents. And then they said they wanted a history of A&M, but there was no history of A&M.
He'd come home and say, "Did you know A&M did this and this and this?" How? Every day something new and wonderful, because he interviewed everybody, the deans on down to all the retired professors, anybody who was involved in anything that was significant.
It wasn't because I wasn't a historian, but you know, somebody had to do it, and nobody was doing it, so I just did it.
Other than the archives that are held at Cushing Library, I would say that this is the most accessible way for anybody, particularly if you're literate or not literate. It's easy to read the history of Texas A&M through these panels.
Any kind of artwork or anything like that we'll do together.
We would stay up late, and he'd say, "Just do the stuff that's drone work when you're tired." And so you didn't have to really think. So you could do that into the wee hours of the morning. But when you had to think, you had to be awake. So we'd wait and do the problems in the morning or during the day.
I had from noon till midnight to work every day for 2 years.
The quality of the wood that he used is very interesting, because part of what I do is take care of all of the public art on campus, and having to clean every little nook and crevice on those wood panels really makes you appreciate the difficulty and the length of time that Rodney and Sue devoted to creating these pieces.
You want a hardwood if you're trying to do detail, because it's not going to split, and walnut seemed to be a really good one. The A&M panels, I used all 80 different tools. There were dent gouges, spoon gouges, then regular chisels. And you've got to get all different widths and size. And then you use wooden mallets that you hit them with. And I have probably 3 or 4 different sizes of mallets out there that I use. On that first panel, you'll see there are little clusters of blackberries around some of the buildings. This place used to be covered with wild berries. One of the years, they had Yale leaders wearing cowboy outfits with megaphones and cowboy hats and stuff. Seeing all these different things, then you try to put it together. Same with Reveille. From the first Reveille on to the present. The uniforms on the core panel, a lot of the archives, I got those from their annuals. And occasionally you would get photographs of Yale leaders and the football players. And we'd use, from those photographs, we would copy as best we could, you know, those faces.
I think everybody that looks at that goes, gee, that's amazing. The alumni that come back remember what it was like when they were at A&M. The students that look at them now go, I can't believe it was like that back then. And future students have an opportunity to see themselves as their growth in their college career.
30 years from now, everything's going to be different. 10 years from now, everything's going to be different. But, you know, I'm glad that people see it and think that's their era. You know, that's when they were here, and they feel that. And that makes me feel real good.